Okay, so last week, we started with a few of those things, like what different kind of what exactly SQL is and what are the different commands in SQL, what types of commands in SQL. So we covered that part, and in that basically, uh, like we did. So the types of command when I was going back yesterday's from the things that I've taught you. So one thing I forgot to tell you that the classification of the commands like DDL or DML, whatever the names are there, you need not to remember those names. Just know that okay, there is certain classification, and you need not to like mug it up. Okay, if somebody is going to ask what type of tell me different types of commands that are there, because see, that is not very crucial at the time. Like when you start practicing, you will come to know, and eventually you will learn it by practicing, and you need not to just give your extra effort to it, and you that I have, okay, I have to sit for 30 minutes and I have to mug up all the commands into that particular section. Don't do that, it's not required. As you start like learning, you will be able to like know and figure out the different categories that are there. So we did DDL, and that is data definition language, and as the name suggests, means these are helping us to define something. Then we did DML, manipulation, and then control, DCL, and then transaction control. Transaction control is commit, rollback, save, and transactions. So we'll be covering a few of them today, and rest we'll be doing tomorrow. And I think uh, tomorrow and today we'll be covering almost all the basic commands that are required for you to start your SQL journey. And then you can practice from the practice sqlpractice.com or HackerRank or Hacker from anywhere you want. But I'd suggest SQL practice is something that I found to be more useful to me, because it had different category, easy, medium, like the one I showed last week. You can select which particular like command or statement you want to practice on, and you can select the different difficulty level, like easy, medium, and hard. So it was easy for me to start my journey with SQL with that. So what we did was okay, so we'll start directly with the practical part. We'll not go by theory again, we'll just directly go to practical part. Okay, so I'll share this. I suppose this is open at everybody's end. Okay, so one thing that I'm going to make very clear is that please do not think this is a lecture where I'm going to cover Microsoft SQL Server, how to use it. No, I'm just using it as a tool. I can even use MySQL from Oracle, or I can use DB2 from IBM. Okay, I have license for that also. Free licenses are also available. But you use any platform or any software system, management system, it does not matter. The basic coding remains same, almost like 90% to 95%, you can say approximately. The coding nature remains same, the commands remain same. Only like 5% plus and minus new commands are there in each management system. So that is okay, you can always Google it up to find the substitute of anything like that way. Okay, so here I have this I'm using Microsoft SQL Server. So whenever you are going to work, you need some database. Like the data, SQL is basically a language that is going to fetch information from a database. When I say database, it is a place where all your data is stored in the form of some rows and columns. When that is because we are going to tell relational database instead of rows and column, because there are certain relationship between each columns, there are certain relationship between each rows. So that is why it is a relational database management system. Okay, so today we'll be starting with the create statement. And what are the different types of statement are written over here. Even you can see the PDF that I have sent you. So create statement falls under DDL category. So as the name suggests, create, this is going to be used to create something. To work upon any table sorry, I have cough and cold. To work upon a table you need to have a database, because a table can be inside the database. So to start with your SQL journey, you should have some database. There are plenty of databases already available. You can directly use them, or let's make our own database. So in this journey, what we are going to do is we will make a database of a company, and then we'll use different commands to understand how to check what are the different databases available in our system, how to use a particular database, how to delete a particular database. So all those things we'll be doing it. So create command can be used to create a database, or it can also be used to create a table. So let's start with a database. So I'll write my command. Okay, so you do not worry about capital and small, that is, it is not case sensitive. In some cases there are chances it could be case sensitive, but majorly it is not. Okay, so I'm not pretty sure in which software it is going to be case sensitive, but in general SQL is not a case sensitive language. So first I am going to create a database. I'm going to create a database, and the name of my database is going to be company. I'll write the command like keywords in capital letter, and I'll write the name of like non keywords as or the variables as a small letter. So that way it is a good practice, but it's not compulsory. But that way you will be able to identify, okay, which thing is what. Okay, so I'll be writing all the keywords in capital letters. So create database and the name of your database. So name of my database is, suppose I'm going to make it employee database. So I'll make employee underscore DB. So DB is an example, just a name, nothing else. So semicolon. To execute this command, I'll have to select this and then click on execute. So you see in the message section, I'm getting a message that says commands completed successfully. I'll refresh it here, and then I'll go to database. It should come here. Yeah, you see here I have got employee underscore DB. So that is the name of my database. There are some system generated databases here, like system databases. One is master, model, MSDB, temp DB, and then I created one as company DB, and then I created one as employee DB. So whatever the database you are there, you can just hover over this and you will be seeing it into the address here. You can see SQL query 1.sql, that is the name of my this particular editor, and then where it is located, like in which particular database I'm working on. So the message says that I have already created a database. So now to check like all the different kinds of databases available in this, I'll use command select. Don't worry about the like keywords right now, just I'm writing this. Okay, select, sorry, name, and what I'm going to select. Name is basically for all the names that are available. This is also a variable, but I'm just writing it all in capital letter. Database underscore ID. Okay, and then from where exactly I'm going to find it, system dot databases. So all the databases available in this system dot databases, select it and show me. So I'll select it and execute. So you see I have got, these are the names, name, temp DB, model. You can see it here also. So it is available here. Okay, And to use any particular database, you have to just write use command. So by using use command, you are going to use the database. Okay, I'll use my database, which is named as company underscore db. Okay, I have done it. I'll select it and I'll press execute. So you see now I am inside company database. Okay, I'll get out of it and I'll use again employee database. You see here at the bottom, as I write EM, I can see as a suggestion, okay, there is a particular database that is named as employee DB. You can select it. So by moving down, I can select whichever I want. So I'm selecting employee DB and then semicolon. And then again, you have to select this. By F5, you can run it or you can click here. So now again, I'm back into my original database. So this was one use of creating a database. So that is the first example how and what is the use of create statement. Second statement is to create a table inside a database. What we are going to do is we are going to make a table into which we are going to store the data of something. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table. Okay, the name of the table is employee info and it will have the attributes mean the columns as employee ID, employee name, employee salary, this is EMP, not EMP, employee salary, what is the nature, what is the job, what is the phone number, and what is his his or her department ID. Okay, so to make any line as a comment, we can use double minus sign and that line will be made as a comment. So this is what we are going to make a table. So to make a table, we have to write create. What we are going to create, we are going to create a table. So we'll write create a table. And then what will be the name of my table? The name of my table will be employee underscore info. So this is going to be the name of my table. And in this table, what are the different columns are going to be there? So one column will be employee ID. Other column will be employee name. Okay. Then other column I'm going to make as employee salary. Then job. Then phone. And then department ID. So this is what I'm going to make. These are the columns, but how will I tell system like what kind of data we are going to use in employee ID, what kind of data we are going to store in employee name? So we have to specify what kind of data type, the type of data. So here we have to write the data type. Okay. So in last lecture we did what are the different types of data types. So this will be integer. Let's employee ID as an integer. Okay. There is a constraint called as primary key. As of now, you just ignore it, what it is, just ignore it. I'm making it a primary key. Okay, let me tell you, primary key basically is a unique key. Okay, it is not going to be repeated. It is no duplicates are allowed. And by this particular column, you can tell or you can find out any data into the table. Suppose for an example, it could be your employee ID, like each employee will have one single employee ID. If I take example of school, each student will have one particular roll number or one particular registration number. So from just by the simple registration number, I can tell the name, age, class, different subjects, different marks. So it is a unique key or unique column that is going to identify a particular row in a given table. So this is that. The feature of a primary key is it should not be null. That is, it is not null and it should be unique. Unique means no duplicates are allowed. So name are like string type of characters. So we have var type data type for that. And then we have to give the length, like what should be the length of that. And can I keep the employee name empty in a given company database? No, there should be some name to that employee. Okay, so it cannot be null. So I'm giving a constraint. So this primary key and not null, these are the constraints. Like you cannot skip it. You have to follow these. So the syntax is your variable or the column name, then you give what is the data type, and then you give if there is any constraint. It is not compulsory, it's an optional thing. If you want, you can give employee salary. So salary will be definitely in decimal part, so I'll write decimal. And in decimal I can keep 10, like 10 numbers, and out of that 2 decimal points are allowed. And it is compulsory to keep the salary or to provide the salary. I cannot keep that column as null. Then we have job. Like job could be his admin, his HR, she is engineer, she is a doctor or consultant. So that is basically what I'm referring to here. So it is a string, so I'll keep it var and again I'll keep it 20. So I'll not give any constraint here. Phone number is definitely integer, integer. Okay, and one thing that you should note down is a phone number is a unique key. It cannot be repeated. So I'll write unique because one person can have only one number. So when I say one number means this same number cannot be allotted to some other person. So that is unique to one phone number is unique to one particular person. Then we have department ID. It could be integer. You can keep it string as well, but I'm keeping it integer, like 01. My department ID is 01. HR department ID is 04, something like that. So this is the basic structure. Okay, let's go back and understand what we have done. We have made a create table employee info, creating a table with the name of employee info, then bracket. In that we have the columns as employee ID of data type integer, and that is going to be our primary key. Then we have employee name. It will store string of length 20, and that cannot be kept as null, means there should be some data in that particular cell. Then we have employee salary decimal, then var that is job. Here we do not have any constraint. That means if you want, you can give job, or if you want, you can skip it. You can like avoid giving any data into that cell. You can keep it null. Same goes with phone number. It's not compulsory to give your phone number, but if you're giving number, it cannot be repeated for two different employees. Two different employees cannot have same phone number. That is unique. And then department ID, it's similar to job. Department ID is similar to job, but just it's in the form of integer. So I'll just run it. Okay, I'm getting an error. What is the error? Line number 3. Okay, yeah. So employee, I have to put comma because I have to separate all these, otherwise these all will become one, and that is not allowed. So these are okay, you see we have got no error. So the syntax was create, then table, and then name of your table, then columns along with your data types, and then if any constraint is there, separated by commas. All the like columns should be separated by comma, and then at the end close the bracket, and then put a semicolon. Semicolon basically means okay, this particular query is going to end here. So I'm removing it. So if you want to check, you can click here, employee DB in the tables, you expand it, and you see here dbo.employee.info. So this is my table. So in this you can check the columns. In columns I have employee ID, pk is basically primary key, not null, employee name. So this is all like extra thing which you can always look from here. So I'll minimize this. Okay, so now we have done with the creation one. Now the table is okay. We have made a database. A database means a place where all the data will be there. Then we have created a table. So as of now, we have just made the skeleton, or we can say we have just made the schema, how the table is going to look like, the skeleton of the table. Now to make it complete, we have to put some data. We have to insert some data into that. So to insert any data, we can,
So, Bridge, I have
yeah,
one question.
yeah.
So, suppose if I have something in Excel or something, can we import that and create in a database and here?
I think that will be too advanced question as of
Okay,
now.
okay, okay. So
Yeah,
sorry. Okay,
no issues, no issue. But we'll skip. I'll cover it at the last. Okay.
okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the syntax for inserting any data is you have to write the command insert and into which particular table you are going to insert. So the command becomes insert into where you are going to insert the table name. So insert into this particular table. Just a second. Insert into table name, and what you are going to insert, you are going to insert some values. So it is just a plain English language. You need not to mug up or learn anything. Just say, okay, I have to insert. Now you're ready with the table. Now you have to insert some values into the given table, and that is written in the form of command here. Insert into the table name, and what you are going to insert is values. Then you have to write in brackets what are the different values by separated by commas. Okay, so that is the general syntax, nothing more. Okay, so I'll insert one particular information. So okay, just a second. Select star, ignore this particular thing. I'm just writing it for you to understand one thing. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I've already written the comma codes, so I'll just paste it. Okay, I'll write it, no worries. Insert is my command. Into, I'm going to insert into which particular table you are going to insert. So name of my table is EMPL, sorry, so this is my table name. Sorry, values. So what are the different values? The first column said we have to enter employee ID. Okay, so the employee ID is, let's say it 101. Then second was the name, employee name. So let's keep it Bridge Nandan. Then third column said salary. Okay, and then fourth was the job. So I'll put engineer here. And the fifth column was phone number. And the sixth was the department ID. Okay, so this is done. So I'll run it. So the message says one row affected. That means one row has been inserted into your table. To check it, I'm going to use a select statement. Okay, so what is the syntax of select statement? Basically, select is SELECT, select which particular column you are going to select. So you can give the name of the column. So let it be column 1, column 2, whatever way. Okay, from where exactly you are going to select. So you are going to select from a given table. So name of that table. So this is pretty simple, right? It's just a plain English. You have to write what you are going to select and from where you are going to select. If you do not want to write any specific column, you can select all the data, like all the columns. So for that we'll write star. So select star from the name of the table. So table is currently employee info. So I'll just select it and execute. Now you see my table has one column and that has, sorry, one row that has the values that have inserted here. Okay, there is one another way in which, okay, so let's add few more data into this so that my table is ready. So I've already written a few commands here and just select it and run it. So I have got this message because, okay, so I'll just check how many rows I have inserted. I'll just select this and run it. Okay, so you see I have inserted as of now total 8 rows is done. Okay. So this was when we knew we inserted data in every single column. You see there is no column here which is having empty values. Okay, but when we were making the table, we knew the job and the phone number were the two columns which were not compulsory to be filled. Okay, we can fill any data into that, or even we can skip it. So there is another way in which you want to enter the data only in a given specific column. So what you do is you have to write it this way: insert into the table name, and that is one thing. And in this table, what you are going to enter is, sorry, values. Okay, just a second. Yeah, so in this particular table, okay, what are the different columns you are going to choose to input the values? So in bracket mention those columns and then values, and then here column 1 value, comma, column 2 value. So this is another way in which you can insert the data. When you are going to like put the data in a specific form, like only in a given specific column. I want to enter the data as of now with only in column 1 and column 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example of this. Okay, so insert into employee info, that is the name of table, and in that whatever the columns which are compulsory to be inserted, I am inserting in only those columns. So employee ID was compulsory because this was primary key. Name cannot be left blank, that was not null. Salary was compulsory and department ID was compulsory. So I am entering only those columns and values in this. I'll run it and one row affected, and again I'll see what is the value. You see I have not entered job and phone number, that is why I'm getting null in these particular cells. Okay, similarly I'll add one more row so that we can see how it is done again. Again I'm going to insert into employee info and these same columns, and this is going to be done. Okay, sorry. What mistake I'm doing? Okay, yeah, so just a second. 101 9 and all those things up to 9. Violation of unique key constraint, in which it is getting violated. Unique key constraint was in phone number. Okay, so phone number cannot be null. It is given as unique. So that is why it is not taking. Okay, I'll just give it a phone number here. It is before department ID, and I'll give. Okay, let's run it. So by reading the error, you can know exactly what kind of error. So you are getting violation of unique key constraint, cannot insert duplicate key. Okay, duplicate key value is null. Even the null cannot be inserted twice. So I cannot insert keep the phone number blank in two people. So it is giving me an error. Okay, so now I have changed it. Phone number is given now. Now I got no error. I'll select and see my data. So you see here I have inserted and these three values are null. I'll remove all other. We just have select star from employee. So this particular command is going to give us all the data in a given table. That is the importance of select statement. Okay, so like to see all the entries, we are going to use select star from employee info. But if we want just some specific column, so I'll suppose I want just employee ID, EMP ID, and what else I want? I need employee name. So that is more than enough. You see I have written a capital NAME, but in reality the name of the table we have mentioned small letter NAME. Let's see if it is going to work. Employee underscore info semicolon, and let's run it. You see it's working. There is no effect of capital or small here. Select employee ID, we have employee, but you see here the name is even though you see here as a capital, but in actual it is not changing it in the table. If you want to, if you rerun this again, you see it is as same, like it is not going to change, but whatever the name of the column you write here, it will ignore the case and give you the output. Okay, so in this particular thing it is giving us the output of employee ID and the employee name. So this is what, and to make it comment I'll just put 2 minus sign before this. Okay, that's all for this. Then we'll go for another important command, that is where command. So where is basically a clause that is used to check a given condition. Okay, so if I want to control my output on the basis of certain criterias, on the basis of certain rules, I'm going to use where clause. Suppose if I want the name of all the employees where they are from the same department, like HR department, so I can put where the department ID is, suppose the department ID for HR is 04, so I'll write where department ID is equals to 04. That's a simple question, like, okay, so we'll have all the employees which are going to have department ID as 04. Okay, or you can say 01, it could be anything. So syntax is you write select statement and then from, and then command like your where clause after the selection from statement. So I'll run it. So you see here all the people with the department ID as 1 are here in the result section. So we have 3 rows, 3 people, that is Brijnandan, Maruti Nandan and Rajan, belonging to the same department ID, that is 01. Okay, if I want to check it for 4, you change it 4 and just run it. You see 3 people in this. So by this way you can use the where clause. There are different other ways to use, in there are advanced ways to use where clause, but this is one of them. Okay, suppose I have entered some value, wrong value into my table, or I have done some mistakes, okay, in my table. So what was mistake here? I should have given some phone number. It should be unique. I cannot keep it null. So I want to give the phone number, okay, or I want to change these null values to some other values. So I have to update my table. So to update, I have to use the command update command. So update is basically going to help you to update the information given into the table or the cell values. So what we are going to update, we are going to update my table. So the name of my table is employee info, as simple as that. So now what we are going to do is we are going to set some values, okay. As of now, if you see under the job column and employee ID 109, what you have is null value, and similarly is for 1010. For phone number you have here null values, okay. So let's take or let's do one thing, let's increase the salary of the people here, okay. So we are going to okay, so I entered the data into my table and I came to know from HR, okay, now salary of every person is getting increased by 10,000, okay. So how are we going to update the table? We are not going to update one by one, we are going to use update command. So update, then we'll use set is the next command which you have to write with update. So what we are going to do, employee salary, okay. Now this is going to be equal as the old employee salary plus 1000 or 10,000, whatever it is. So this command is going to increase the salary. You see here 5,000, sorry, okay, 50,000, and then it should become 60. Okay, I will run select all the star. You see it has increased by 10,000. Okay. So by this way you can update your table. I can update even the null values which I was telling you in the first case. Employee info, this is going to update my table employee info, and I'm going to set the job, okay. Okay, what kind of job we have? Engineer, dr consultant, HR admin. Okay, consultant is 1 and we have department ID is 3 for both, okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to change consultant to HR. So job, set job is equals to what we are going to change it to HR. Set job is equals to HR, where job is equals to consultant. So in this way we have seen even the use of where clause in updation. Now it will update all the jobs which are having the job type as CON, SEL consultant. It will be replaced with HR. So if I run it, one row has changed. If like there were 3 different rows which have got affected, we would have got 3 rows affected. Again going to check it back, and you see here it is HR. Now no more consultant. So this is one query, okay. Now let's check one another query, like update the employee info with increase where salary will be increased by some certain number based on condition, where now we are going to increase the salary of only those employees who are like of department ID 4 or 1, okay. So department ID is equals to 01. So I'll increase it by 10,000 more if they have the department ID as 01. So 1, 2 and 3. So total we should be affecting 3 rows, okay. So 3 rows affected, and now let's see what is the current status. You see 70,000, this has changed by 10,000 again, and even this has changed, okay. So this is the use of update command, okay. Now let's see the use of delete command. So delete is basically delete is basically used to remove one row, two rows, like one particular record in a table or multiple records in a table. In future, tomorrow I'll also cover one command called as truncate, that is also some way similar to delete, that is going, and one more command, that is drop. And this is very important question that is asked in interviews also: what is the difference between like delete, drop and truncate? So we'll cover that as well. Okay, null values. Okay, don't worry, I'll just give one example. Okay, let me update the null values. It's nothing like where, suppose I want to change the phone number, right? Where phone is equals to, not equals to, is, there is a command called as is. That's why I didn't cover null one, because I have to cover is, as, the aliases and all those. But anyway, I'll do it here. Update, what I'm going to update: name of my table, employee underscore info, and then we have to use set. What I'm going to set: phone is equals to, I'm giving a default number 000, or let's make it, this is going to be default phone number, just dial phone number if the phone is null. If you have not given any phone number, if anybody is going to call, they are going to be redirected to just dial. One row affected, select star from employee underscore info, and if you run it, you see we have changed the null values to some other values. So that is one different way. Okay, so coming back to delete. So what is the syntax of delete? Okay, delete from where? From the given table. Okay, name of the table. And if you are deleting on the basis of some conditions, you write your where condition here. And if you are not writing any condition, it will delete all the rows. Okay, so this is going to be affecting the rows. Delete is going to be affecting the rows one by one. Okay, so let's think of a question: delete all the employees who do not have phone numbers. Now I have changed already to 888. So, okay, so I'll do one thing: delete the employees whose phone number is same as to just dial number. So I'll write delete from where? From employee info. Okay, if I just run this, it is going to remove all my rows. Okay, all the rows will be deleted. I don't want to do that. Okay, let me do it for you. Oh, let me see if I have code ready. Okay, I'll not delete, sorry, I'll not delete because I have to rewrite again. So I'll skip that. You can run it at last when we are going to close this session. I will run it. So delete from employee info. If I just run this, it is going to clear all the table. Okay, and then delete from employee info, and the question was the phone number. Yeah, where phone is equals to, let me copy this. So if the phone number is this, it is going to get deleted. Select it, I run it, one row has been affected. Now I'm gonna check my database, sorry, table in the database, employee info semicolon, and oh sorry, what is wrong here? Okay, yeah, I have missed from keyword. And you see 109 is not here. Total we have 9. Earlier we had 10 rows, now we just have 9. Okay, that is one way of deleting. Okay, so when like not today but tomorrow, I'll tell you in detail like how these things are different, like delete and truncate. So truncate is basically going to remove all the rows from a table. Okay, but the schema, Okay, schema or the skeleton is going to remain there. Okay, it is going to remove the data from the cells, but the table is going to be there. Okay, we'll cover it in more detail tomorrow, don't worry about that. And I'm not going to run this, just this command, because it is going to clear my whole table. Or shall I do that? Okay, I'll make another table, and I'm going to make one different table called as department info. Okay, so I'm creating a table department information, and in that we have department ID integer, not null, unique, and then department name, not null, and it will be having some character, and sorry, character strings. Then we have department HOD and all those things. So I'll just run it. Okay, and I'll see, select star from department info, and we have department ID, department name, and department HOD. Now it's time to insert some values into this, and for that insert command is going to be used. Okay, I have already the codes. Okay, so insert into department values, and these are department IDs, and then these are the name of the department and then name of the HODs, and that's it. So we'll do, I'll run it, and again I'll see. So this is my table. Okay, so I'm going to use delete department info. Have I written there? So 4 rows affected, and let's see what is remaining here. Execute, and you see here it is empty, nothing is here. Okay, everything is deleted now. Now we are going back to one another clause. One was where clause. Now this is another clause or another constraint or rule that is to be applied, or condition that we can apply. It's called as order by. So order by is basically a command that is going to tell your output result to be ordered in a specific way, like ascending or descending order. Okay, so this is a way to arrange your output in a given specific order. So I have select star from imply info, and in this, if I just, you see, the names are also not sorted, and these are not sorted. If I want it in a specific order, like in an ascending order or descending order on the basis of some column, what I'll do is I'll use order by. Now order by which particular column? So if I want to order by employee salary, let's see what's going to happen. Now you see the smallest one is in the top, and the highest one is at the lowest, that is Ankita, and Ritesh is having the lowest one. So this is, if you do not write here anything ascending and or descending, it is going to arrange automatically by default in ascending order. But if you want in the reverse order, descending, you have to write DESC. In fact, there you can write here a like ascending ASC, but it's not required because that is by default. Okay, so if I run it now, it is getting reversed. So this is one way, not by employee salary. Let's see if it is, how it is going to work with employee name. select it and run it. Now you see the S name, S is at the top, Shreya is at the top, then Shiva. Even between SH, it is going to compare the third, that is R and I, whichever has the highest precedence, that in for descending order it is coming at the first. So Shreya is coming at first, then Shiva, then Sharad. Okay, so that's why I have kept these name with SH, so that you can understand even in the alphabetical order it is just like searching dictionary. In normal dictionary, if you want to find the meaning, you have to search word by word, sorry, alphabet by alphabet. So that is what it is doing here. Okay, so that is the use of order by clause. Then we have something called as aggregate functions. So it is also called as group function. So what basically it means, like there are few functions that fall into this category. One is sum, then we have average, then we have min, then we have max, and then we have count. So sum is going to find the sum of all the columns, sorry, all the rows in a given column. Average is going to find the average of a given particular column or cells. Min is going to give us the minimum, max is going to give us the maximum, and count is going to give the number, the count number. So if I want to find what is the expense a company is having, so expense is basically the salaries, right? So select star, okay, not star, sorry, select, we have, if you want to find like what is the expense a company is occurring or having, so it is basically all the salaries. So I'm going to sum up all the salaries. So emp salary, sum all the salaries, from where, from my employee table, and that is employee info. Now if I do, it is going to do what, it is going to sum up all the salaries here, and if I run it, you see this is the total amount that is being paid from company's pocket to employee's pocket. So this is one command, how to use sum. So if I want to see average, what is the average salary of all the employees here, so I'll use AVG, and so overall the average salary that is being given to an employee in this particular company is 90,666. Okay, now if I want to find what is the minimum salary that is being offered, I can use min. Okay, let's keep min and max both. We have max. Okay, both are going to be covered in the same, you see. So this is minimum and this is maximum. How, but here you see in the top column name it is giving no column name, no column name, so it is getting confusing. So what we can do is we can use alias. Alias is like a second name or a duplicate name given to that particular column. So for that I'll write refer this minimum employee salary, whatever the column it is coming, refer this column as min sal. Okay, and whatever the maximum salary I'm getting it, the calculation for that, refer it as max sal. Now if I run it, you see the no name has been changed to min sal and max sal. So now you know what exactly this is. So this is called as aliases. Okay, we'll cover it again tomorrow, if otherwise it's not that important. Okay, so this is basically, it's not going to affect your result, but this is going to affect the column name. It will be easier for you to identify the output. Okay, so this is one way. Now let's understand last aggregate function, and that is count. So I have to count all the employees count employees salary if they are from a given department, where department ID is equals to 1 or 0 1, both is going to be same. So if the department ID is 1, count the employee salary, how many people are there. So I count like 2 columns. Okay, so there are 2 people. If you do not want to write this, you can write even star, so it is going to count. So there are 2 people with department ID as 1. Okay, let's see another. We have job. Count all the jobs where job is equals to job is null. Okay, just a second, I think there is some error. Select star from employee underscore info, and we have yeah. So one particular column is having null value. Count all the values or all the rows. Star basically is going to give search all the tables, all the rows in which the job is null. So it is giving me answer 1. So I'm giving a name to the column as null job. Now if I run, it's not good to look here, no column name and answer is 1. What is no column name? Let's give it some name. So that's why, so null job. Okay, null job is 1, or we can call it null job count, that way. Okay, so this is another way of using all those aggregate functions. Similarly, there are some numeric function, as the name suggests. These are the mathematical functions. Okay, and what are these mathematical functions? One is ABS. Let's use it, not just. Okay, so select ABS, absolute values. It, whatever the negative value you are going to give, it is going to give the absolute value of that. So if I run it, it is going to give me the positive values. Okay, and let's see if it affects the decimal point. What do you think, if it affects or not? So it does not affect the decimal point. It is only affecting the positive and negative sign. So if you have some negative values, it is going to convert it as positive. So one is apps, so other is ceiling. Ceiling is basically like the roof, right, at the top. So it is going to give us the nearest whole number on the upper side. So if I have 10.9, so 10.9, so nearest whole number is 11, right? It should give me 11. If I give it, some might be thinking, okay, 0.5, if it's greater than 0.5, it is going to take. So let's see that case scenario as well. So it does not matter if there is any digit here after decimal, howsoever small it is, does not matter. If it is above 10, it is going to take the next whole number, that is 11. And similarly, instead of seal, if you want the lower boundary, we can use floor command. Okay, so it is going to give us 10. Then we have square, SQUA square. Square of 5 is 25. And then we have, okay, let's see, square of 2 is 4. Then we have square root, SQRT. Okay, so it is giving 1.414. This is going to give us square root. And then we have another command as pi. So this is going to give us the value of pi up to certain digits, 3.14, and this is the value of pi. Then we also have cos. Okay, cosine of any degree, cos 90, sine 0 is 0, sine 90 is 1. Let's see if it is taking it as a degree or radian. Okay, so it is taking it radian. is going to do, okay, so I can pass one function inside another function. So this is these are the like similar to cos, we have tan, cosine, sine, tan, then we have even exponents. Okay? So these are, okay, let me write exp. So exp is e to the power, and then what power we are raising, e to the power 2. So we have 7.3 something, and if it is 1, it will give me the value of e, and that is equals to 2.71. Okay, if you do not know what is exponent, you can Google it. And then we have some other functions that are handling strings. Okay, so strings, this is one of the most funniest and most interesting one. In be it any language, Java, Python, C, C++, strings are one of the most interesting concepts that you can always like relate, like whatever the language you are learning, strings have the best way to like give riddles to your mind. This I love specifically strings in any language. If I learn any language, I'm going to give more attention to the string part. Okay, so anything I write something like this, Krishnandan, and I'm going to write select. So you have, suppose you have to print this thing, so you have to always write select. So this is going to select whatever thing is written in front of it. So select, so it is giving me my name. So the first function which we encounter is that is called as length function. We have also covered it in Java, Python. So length function is basically going to give us the number of characters, count of the number of characters here. So this is going to give the number of characters, and my name is 11. Okay, so len is one function. You can do it similarly for select len emp name and comma as length, and also emp name from employee info. So this is basically going to give me all the names in my table employee info and whatever the length it has. Okay, oh sorry, okay, syntax error. Oh, I have put here minus sign, which it is underscore sign. I execute it again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you see, we have employee names and what are the length. So Krishnandan has 11 character, Marutinandan has 13, Shiva has 5, Ankita has 6, and so on. So length function is going to give us the length. Okay. Similarly, we have another function called as upper. So what it is going to do is it is going to convert everything into uppercase. Okay, now if I have here two, now I'll use, if I have upper, definitely I'm going to have a lower. So if I select lower, it is going to convert everything into lowercase. So I can use in above here also. Okay, lower, and you see every single name is in lower letter. If I write here upper, it is going to convert into upper letter. Every name is in capital letter, uppercase. So we have another function that is called as rtrim and ltrim. So this trim command is basically used to remove the white spaces. So suppose if you have any string and it is preceded or by some spaces, white spaces, so it is going to remove all those things. So it could the spaces could be at the last or at the start. So suppose space 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 brij space space space. So this has space at the start as well as at the end. Okay, so if it is going to trim the spaces from right side, we have to use R trim, and if we are going to use the spaces or remove the spaces from left side, we are going to use left string. So let's take an example of this. So we have two different things, right? So first is this, I'm going to run it and see, it is going to give us 10. Okay, so 6 characters in a string and 2 in the start and 2 at the last. We have spaces, and that is going to be 10, total 4. So L trim is going to remove the strings from left side, and we are going to get 6 because 2 spaces are going to remove. You see 6. And now if we use L trim and do not find the length, you can see how is the output. So basically you will not be able to differentiate by this like just by visualizing. That's why I have used len function to see, make you see okay, something is changing. So here you see it is changing here, but even if you write here R trim, you are not going to get any different result, but actually it is happening, but you will not be able to see significant effect here. So you see here is a space and here is no space, but there is no way to prove that there is no space at the end. Okay, that is why I used length command to calculate and show it to you. But it, what it does is it removes the spaces at the start or at the end. So at the end is basically right side of the string and start is basically at the left side of the string. So this is like two things. Then we have another important function in string as substring. Substring is basically a part of the string. So suppose I have my name as bridge and then party, and out of this I just want NAN. So this is a part of the string. So whole string is this, and this is a part of it. Okay, so that is substring. So how to take out a substring from a given string? So select. Okay, so what is the syntax of that? So syntax is select substring and whatever the string you are going to use, so substring, and I'm giving my name. Okay, then you have to write from where you are going to start and up to which position or indexes you have to give to where you want to select. So if I select this, so from 3rd position to 9th position. So unlike others in Python, we learned that it is going to count from 0, but it is not count from 0. From in this case, it is going to count B as the first character, R as second, and I as the 3rd character. It should give us IJ space NAN, something like that. Yeah. So you see IJ NAN DAN. It is not counting from 0. So it is used to fetch or take out some part of the string. Okay, so suppose someone has entered the username, not the username, some employee has like suppose let's take my example only. So my name is Brijnandan Tripathi and I want to make an email ID out of this. So I'll find out a substring of first 4 character of my name @companiesname.com, something like that. So to take out that substring, we are going to use substring command. And then we have another important command as replace command. So replace is basically going to replace one string with another string. Okay. Let me show you another example. So suppose I want to replace, the command is select replace, and this is Brijnandan, the first string. Okay, from this string find this thing, wherever this substring is there, replace it with this particular substring. So what it is going to do is it is going to replace bridge with Shiv. So what answer we have got is Shiv Nandan. Okay, one more thing, if you write you are going to get suggestions. So if I see, if I return like replace and I put bracket, so it is going to give me these like what things are to be written. So expression to be searched. Okay, so I can write here my string where it is going to search and what you are going to replace. So suppose I'm going to search for NANDAN and I'm going to replace it with NAN. Okay, so this is my, and if I run it, okay, okay, I'm making some error in this. Okay, sorry. Yes, so sorry. I'm not telling from where exactly it is to be done. Okay, so you see we had two names, Rich Nandan and Maruti Nandan, and out of that it is removing the Nandan and sorry, replacing the Nandan with NAND. Okay, now again what I can do is I can change back NAND to NANDAN. Okay, you see it's back. So this is the replace command. Then we have another command called as replicate. Replicate, as the name suggests, it is going to replicate anything. So if I write alpha, so and how many times I want to replicate it, I want to replicate it 3 times and I run it, so it is going to print it 3 times. It's just like loop, you see, alpha alpha alpha. If I add a space here and again I run it, you see I'm getting the same thing with a space. So that is all about strings. A few things are left, but I think that is okay. And when you practice more, you can come across all those things and you can do it, or we can come to learn about those things from sqlpractice.com. You can use that platform to learn the advanced part of it. But this is like basics, and that is good enough to move forward. Then we have Boolean. Yeah. Any questions?
No, no.
Okay.
All good, all good.
Okay.
Sir,
Then, yeah, please.
sir, delete is used for rows and drop is for columns, right?
Okay, so I'll cover it tomorrow. Like I said, delete. I do not want to confuse everyone right now because I have made a. Let's see. Delete, drop, and truncate. I'll cover it together tomorrow. Again,
Okay,
then
sir.
we can discuss it. So as of now, I do not want to discuss because many people do not know. Some of us do not know exactly. So I do not want to confuse them. But separately, yes, I'll tell you. Just don't worry about that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So okay,
Thank you,
so
sir.
okay, so we have Boolean here. So in Boolean, what we are going to do is we are going to do 3 different and important. One is and, then or, and then is not. In Python also we did the same. And is basically going to give us correct result when all the like statement 1 and statement 2. Suppose we have statement 1 and statement 2. So we are going to get an output only when both the statement 1 and statement 2 are true, and we are going to get output in or condition if any of these are true, and not is just if s1 is false, we are going to get the output. So let's see it in like example. So question is find all the employees having department ID is equals to 01 and employee ID as 101. So this is my question. All employees having department ID 01 and employee ID as 101. So I'll write select star from employee info where department ID is equal to 01. We have used and, okay, and employee ID as 0. Now let's see what is the result here. So we have just one particular row which is having department ID as 1 as well as employee ID as 101. So both conditions are true, only then we are going to get the result. Now instead of that, if I write or, let's see the difference. In this case, you see employee ID is 102 but department ID is 1. Either of the condition is true, I am getting the output. Okay, that is why in this case or case we are getting two rows. Okay, now if I want to see the example of not, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this department ID is not equals to 01. If department ID is not 01, then give us the output. You see all the outputs we have got except the department ID is equals to 1. Okay, other symbol which we can use is this. This is also a not symbol. So if you run this, so we are going to get department ID except 01. So I think for today we'll stop up to this only, and tomorrow we'll cover the remaining questions and remaining things.